Welcome to a Bosch short video showing you how to record SMP in Sage 50 Payroll. There are a couple of methods of recording maternity pay. Today we're looking at how to record it on the employee's record. So once you've opened their record, go to the Absence tab and click on the SMP button. The first thing the system's asking us for is the employee's due date. So we'll pop that date in there for her. And after that, the next thing is the actual Bourne day. Now, if you're entering this in advance, of course you won't know that date yet, so we can come back and we can update that as and when we're ready to. The system automatically pulls through the started work date from the employee's record. And of course that's important because although anyone is entitled to maternity leave, your maternity pay rights depend on how long you've already been working for the company. Then the next date that we're asked for is the day that our employee is stopping work and going on maternity leave. So the day that their work ended for their maternity pay period. So we'll just pop that date in there for them. And obviously lastly, we've got down here the return to work date. Again, we're entering this in advance and we haven't had any maternity leave. So we'll just populate that as and when our employee is coming back to work. Over here on this side then, for an employee to actually receive maternity pay, there needs to be evidence that there is a pregnancy. So this is usually the MAPB1 form that your employee is given either by their midwife or by their doctor. It's round about the 20-week scan that they get that, so they can give that to you then. Once you've received a copy of it, keep it safe and just tick the box here to say that you've received that. That will allow the system to then actually calculate whether someone is entitled to maternity pay. Things don't always go to plan, and it could be that maybe our baby arrives early and therefore maternity leave starts early. So if there's an early birth, then we need to tick this box here and we need to put the date of birth in here. So in that instance, I'm going to put in a date earlier than we were expecting our employee to leave. And you can see that the system is prompting us with a message here to say that the maternity leave date has to be no later than the day that the baby was born. And if we tick that there, we can see that the system has updated that for us. So our employee's last day in is deemed to be the day the baby is born, and maternity leave will start the day after. The other thing that might affect when our employee is able to go on maternity leave might be if they're signed off for a pregnancy-related illness. So in the 4 weeks leading up to the expected date of birth, if our employee is signed off sick, the maternity leave will start automatically. So again, you would tick this box here and then you would change the date that the employee's last day in was the day before they were signed off. Obviously we don't know the day that the baby was born, so that wouldn't be filled in automatically then. But for our purposes for now, I'm just going to put this back to where we were on that there and just untick that there. So down here then, we've got advice of any kit days that are worked. So kit days are the keeping in touch days, and those are the days the employee is allowed up to 10 kit days during their maternity leave, where they can come into work or keep in touch and do work where the maternity pay is not affected. You'll record those on the absence calendar as an absence type of kit, and the system will automatically update any days there for them. That won't affect any maternity pay. You could also record if the employee actually does more than the kit days and works for you any weeks that they've worked here. You would record them there, or if they were on a trade dispute, any weeks there. And of course, both of those may affect maternity pay, and you can adjust that manually. So once we've got all the information that we need on the screen, then we can work out whether our employee is actually entitled to maternity pay. There are two ways of doing that. You can either do it manually or let the system calculate it for you. Obviously, most of us probably choose to let the system calculate it automatically for us. There are instances where you may wish to do it manually. That could be that you've migrated over to this program and you don't have enough history in the system yet to be able to do that. In which case you would just tick this little radio button here and enter the figures manually on the next screen. But for our purposes, we're just going to tick auto calc here. Once we've ticked auto calc, the system is going to go behind the scenes and calculate, but it is just popping up a note for us and reminding us that if there's any holiday payments that are made around about the relevant period that it's assessing, that may affect the average calculations. Okay. So we can see now that the system has calculated the average earnings for our employee there. So to have a look and see the more detail of where that's come from, we'll pop over to this 8-week tab here. So what the system does is it looks at the qualifying week. So the qualifying week is the mark that is 15 weeks before the due date for the baby. And the system will then look at the 8 weeks earnings prior to that and calculate the average earnings for that period to make sure that our employee earns above the minimum amount that they need to be entitled to maternity pay. Because our employee in this instance is on a monthly salary, there's only 2 reference salaries in there. If your employee is paid weekly, then you will have all of the weeks populated in there. But either way, the system will calculate the average over the 8 weeks and then give an average weekly amount in there, and then let you know, obviously, if this person is not entitled to maternity pay. If you're doing this manually and you've ticked the manual tick button, then you would come in and you can populate the dates in here and the amounts as appropriate, and then the system will again update these figures here and allow the maternity pay to be paid. So if we pop over to the entitlement tab, this shows us again the qualifying week and also the start of the maternity pay period. So the first box here shows us any amounts that we've actually paid or are currently due to pay our employee. So it references the number of weeks that payment is for and the total amount. And then it calculates the total over the whole period as money is paid. Ultimately, that's going to result in the 39 weeks if our employee takes at least 39 weeks off and is paid the full maternity pay. Here we can see the full entitlement of the maternity pay that our employee is going to receive. This is just the SMP value. If you do pay more than the SMP rate for maternity, you'll need to calculate that separately if you're using this to update the letter that you're sending your employee to confirm their maternity leave and the payment amounts that they're going to get. So this shows you then the 6 weeks at the 90% of their average earnings, and then the 33 weeks at the maternity allowance amount, or if their average earnings are less than that, then the 90% of their average earnings for that would go in there. And then we have a total then for the 39 weeks that's in there. So once we're happy with all the information, we'll just click OK. The system does remind us to keep that MAPB1 form safe, so do make sure you keep a copy. Okay, so at any point then we can come back in to the, let's just say that, we can come back in to the SMP here and update any of these other dates as and when we need to. Okay, and that is how to enter the maternity on an employee's record. Thank you for watching our video. If you'd like any more information on other courses and training that we offer, either on payroll or on accounting, please pop over to our website. Take a look. Thank you.